Hey guys, Lord here, back in with another action figure review. Today we'll be taking a look at the Transformers Titans Return Terrorcon ? Wolfwire, aka Weirdwolf. Guess they had to change his name because of some stupid licensing BS. But at any rate, this is another deluxe class from the Titans Return line, brought to us by the fine folks over at Hasbro, as well as my good buddy wmpyr, who, spoiler alert, sent me all three of the figures we'll be taking a look at for Halloweeny. So please feel free to click the link in the description below, head on over to his channel, give him a follow if you like all kinds of martial arts, and like I said in the Mind Wipe review, or should I say Mind Wipe review, he does some horror stuff too. But at any rate, Weirdwolf, Wolfwire, whatever you want to call him, is my favorite of the three. Shouldn't be surprising because I like me some werewolves. And this guy's essentially a Transformers werewolf. Two of my favorite things stuck in a blender, and this popped out. Pretty freaking cool. Now, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, why don't we cut right to the chase and get into the meat and taters of this review and take a look-see at all his accessories. Of course, he's got a tail sword in true Beast Wars-ish fashion, because this guy predates that by a country mile. He's got a tail that's a sword. I mean, what more do you want? It does have the little pegs on there. I'm not sure what those are for. But he does also have this blaster, which in wolf mode mounts onto his back. And you can actually fit the little headmaster in there like he's piloting it like a tank. So he's a werewolf robot tank man. This guy gets more metal with every revelation here. The tail doesn't fit into the end of the gun, so I'm not sure why it's got these knobs on it. It's just kind of weird. But at any rate, let's bring in his buddies. We have Skull Crusher here. And Mind Wipe. Excuse me, Mind Wipe. And they look great together. I think that's the one thing these guys got going for them above all else. They look great as a set. On their own, I would say Wolfwire Weirdwolf is the best, subjectively and objectively. Mind Wipe second, and Skull Crusher's third. He's not like the worst thing ever, but compared to these two, he ain't cutting the mustard. Let's get these two out of the way. Let's take a look at Wolfwire's Titan Master, which is not as tight as what's his name's Mind Wipes, but it's not bad. Flip this out. There he is. He's just a little guy. That said, as I mentioned earlier, you can actually set him in here. He's actually like nice and snug in there too. And he can like pilot this thing like a tank. It's pretty wild, but folding him back up. And actually, before I plug this in, you can kind of do some cool, like, I know people do the Gerwalk thing, but if you fold the head up like this, yeah, like this, and then if you can pop the claws out, I'll just do this, reverse this, pop this claw out here, flip this around like that. You can kind of have a werewolf mode, no lie. Granted, you gotta fold the hands up, that's a little hard to do, but yeah, pretty cool. You can kind of do a in-between mode. It's like a secret third mode. Like I said, when people do the Gerwalk things. Now, I will say, this back panel is loose. But it's not because it's actually loose. It's because the hard plastic half of this panel, the hinge cracked all to heck. And while that does suck, don't get it twisted, it's not salvageable. I can actually have my old man probably put a dab of super glue on the bottom of this hard plastic piece, and then the soft plastic piece here, and then it'll be a solid piece, so it will stay together. But I really don't know why they chose to make a half like soft plastic, half hard plastic piece. That just seems kind of stupid to me, like really stupid. And my guess is, since it's not gold plastic, it's just old plastic that's thin and brittle. That's why it cracked on me. But I managed to get all the excess bits out of there. So it does hinge like really easy. And not for nothing, it does snap in both modes. So it really doesn't even need the glue. I just want it there, because it will be a little bit more solid. So see if that can be arranged. But as far as his articulation goes, his head will rotate side to side. These are little ball joints essentially, but you don't get a ton out of that. Shoulders go up, down a little bit. They rotate back and forth. They do kind of have a butterfly in there because of the big ball pegs, so that's kind of neat. He does have a swivel in the elbow. Angle jointed elbow as well. If you open the arm panels, the hands do move up and down, so I guess that's good. Waist twist. Yes, he does have a waist twist. Hips will kick out, back down, forward and back. He does have a thigh cut way down here for some reason. And now, yeah, it's way down here by the knee. Interesting. Single jointed knee. And then he does have some ball joints in the ankle, but not a ton of range out of those. More forward than anything. So, very, very cool. My favorite of the three, despite his back panel being, well, messed up. It is what it is. It's an oldish figure at this point. I've had him for a few years. I stored him well. He was in a baggie in a drawer. But in my rather temperature-regulated room. So it's just time is what caught up with him, I'm afraid. But it is what it is, man. There's not much you can do about it. So before we wrap this up, let's bring in our two regulars. The Mythic Legion's Brother Mandibilith right there. And the infamous MK11 Spawn, who, as usual, towers over everyone. So with that being said, it's time now that we wrap things up with some final thoughts. Overall, and of the three Terrorcons, still not sure if that's what these guys are referred to or not, I have to say that good old Wolfwire, aka Weirdwolf, is by far my favorite, despite the fact that his back panel needs to be modified, and I'm sure I can have the old man do that. I sure as heck can't do that. I'm not a handyman like he is, but even with that, this guy's robot mode outshines the other two by like a country mile. It's not even close. Even more so with his animal mode. It's not even close. It is far superior than his compadres. Literally by, once again, a country mile. It's just the back panel on mine needs to be modified to work a little better. And I can only assume that a lot of these figures are like that nowadays because they just be old. So, with that being said, before we wrap this up, I think it is time now that we take a look at Wolfwire, aka Weirdwolf's Wolf Mode. And as promised, here is good old Weirdwolf or Wolfwire, whichever you prefer. I put both in the title of the video, so YouTube algorithm much. In his wolf mode, werewolf mode, whatever you want to call it mode, and personally, I think he's the best of the trio we got during Titan's Return. Anyway, I don't have the other ones, because like I said in the Mind Wipe video, I wasn't going to buy a box set of like 5 or 6 dudes for like 1 or 2. That's just dumb. I'll hold out hope that maybe they release them single-carded, but at any rate, this guy's my favorite, not only because it's a wolf and I'm incredibly biased towards wolves, but he's just fun. I remember getting this guy and transforming him over and over and over again. Like, literally laying in my bed trying to doze off, just messing with this guy. And then I'd set him aside and drift off into Never, Never, Neverland. Don't know where that came from. But at any rate, why don't we bring in his Terracon compatriots. There's Mind Wipe and Skull Crusher. I'm still perplexed as to why there's a werewolf, a vampire bat, and a crocodile. Very interesting choice there. But at any rate, they look good together. Although I must say, in real life, a bat is much smaller than a wolf, and a wolf is much smaller than a crocodile. They might be taller, but a crocodile is like huge. But at any rate, getting these two out of the way. Take a closer look at Wolfwire, because unlike Mind Wipe, he has articulation. He also has a gun on his ass that you can put the little not target master, what do you call those things? Headmaster in. But as far as articulation on him goes, his head will actually turn side to side. His mouth does open, which is cool. His arms and his legs have the same articulation as robot mode. However, the legs have this extra joint because it's a degenerate leg. And his tail will turn a little bit. Pretty much got to plug it in this way, though. This will, of course, become his sword in robot mode. But there you go, man. Really cool. I always liked this figure. I still like this figure. Very, very awesome. And perfect for Halloweeny because, well, you got a vampire bat, you got a werewolf. What more could you possibly ask for? So, with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this review. Until next time, catch you guys later.